Hi, my name is Chris. Today we're going to do like a mock interview, see your knowledge on what you know by special relativity. Uh, do I have your consent to record you?
Yes.
Yes. Can you say verbally, I have your consent?
You have my consent.
Okay. So, let's start. What do you know about the theory of special relativity?
Not much, just that relative to how fast you're going is dependent on how time is in your perspective.
Okay.
How fast it goes.
So if time is relative, what does that mean in practical terms? Can you think of a situation where time might not be for the same for two observers?
Two observers. Well, there's like someone goes off into space and then comes back like 5 years later for people on Earth, but it seems like they've aged like, I don't know, a month or something.
Oh, so it seems you have heard about the twin paradox, right?
I guess. Oh yes, yeah.
So let's say you have a person on Earth, and his twin is off in a rocket ship.
Yeah. It's a good ship.
He's moving at speed of light. Now,
That's
in this perspective, how time is relative in this situation?
Time is moving. Well, it's funny. Well, time moves like everyone thinks a second is a second, right? But technically, to the guy on the ship, time's moving faster for the guy on Earth. Like more time goes by for the person on Earth than the person that is on the ship for like the same period.
Well, let's switch it to imagine you're the guy on the ship. How would you see your twin's time on Earth?
So he's moving at speed of light. Oh, I guess it would be slower. You would think like, complicated, because technically time moves slower for the guy on Earth. Oh no, time moves slower for the guy on the ship, right? Because he's moving the speed of light. So I guess it depends on how perspective-wise. I don't know. It's hard to say like, oh, time is moving faster for this bird. It looks like this time is moving faster for this bird. Like he's not looking at Earth and being like, watching them like ants go along, like speeding up. What's happening is time is moving faster for them compared to that guy on the ship.
So would you say the perspective of each person changes based on what position they are in?
Yeah. I mean, like, to each person, a second is a second, but that's not true, you know? Like, they think a second is a second, but a second is, I don't know, a day for the person. So, perspective, each person thinks a second is a second.
So let's say you're still the twin on the spaceship, right? And you measure and observe distance. Well, the actual distance is 80 miles. What do you think happens when you're moving at the speed of light?
At the speed of light, I think 80 miles, you said?
Yeah, let's just like arbitrary distance. You're the twin on the spaceship. You're moving the speed of light. What is the observed phenomenon you might be seeing?
Well, like, let's go to like sci-fi films, right? When you like they go light speed, you see all the stars just start like becoming lines and shit. So, being that the stars start expanding, maybe that starts to expand.
So you think the distance expands in this case?
I perspective-wise, I'd say yes. I want to say it shrinks, but I don't know.
Well, based on your knowledge of physics 1, you measure a tree and you're moving a distance. Does it feel like it's coming closer to you or farther away from you?
It's coming closer to me.
And suppose you're in the car looking at the tree. Does the tree seem stationary or is it moving towards you?
Looks like it's moving towards me.
Yeah. So if you apply a case here, and you're looking at a star and you're moving the speed of light, what would you see the star in this case then?
It's like maybe it's like teleporting from that place to right in front of me.
Mm. So would you say now if the star is getting farther away from you?
No.
Mm.
No, yeah. I would say things are moving closer to me and or well depending on like where it's positioned further.
So why do you think the speed of light, if you moving speed of light, affect time and length in these type of scenarios?
Affected because we rely on the light to like reach our eyes, but if we are going at the same speed of light, then things become distorted to like reach our eyes. Whatnot.
So you believe that, if I want to get this correct, that the only reason why the perception of moving at light speed changes is because our own observation. So let's say if I think about this case, now the twin can observe at the speed of light, imaginarily, and you can observe the speed of light. So would you say his clock now is running at the same time as the twin on Earth?
No, yeah, because now if you can observe at the speed of light, then you're taking in all the light rays at the speed of light. So I think it would then appear like they're looking at like ants, and time is moving like really fast.
Okay. Now let me introduce a new concept to you. Have you heard, under special relativity, it's called something the theory of simultaneity. Have you heard about that?
I definitely have not.
Okay. Now imagine you have a snake that's 80 feet long. 80 feet. Right. You have a knife here. You have a knife here.
Damn.
And it falls. Both the knife falls down at the speed of light, but the snake survives. How would you think that is possible? And the snake here also observes at the speed of light.
Okay. This is like, you know, I've heard a rumor or whatnot that like technically like the position of it like is shifted like kind of both ways. So like technically the knife misses.
What do you mean the position of a knife switches both ways?
So like if it's like coming down, right? At the speed of light, that means like the knife could be above it, but also like maybe slightly shifted below it, the snake.
And why would you observe that's the case if the snake is everything is observed at the speed of light? So wouldn't it happen at the same time for everyone?
I guess
Simultaneously?
Well, yeah. Well, I guess the snake's alive or dead. I don't know. So
well, that's more of quantum mechanics. We want to stray away from that.
okay.
So in your case, if everything observing the speed of light, then everything should work in the same frame. But as we've seen so far, that's not truly the case. So what do you think? Do you think it's a relationship between space and time?
Well, yeah. Well, I do think that there has to be a relationship between it because otherwise, how would we get speed and whatnot? You know. If the knife is going at the speed of light. But to the knife's perspective, does it see the snake? Does it know if the snake is there?
Well, let's bring it back to physics 1, right?
Huh.
You're in a moving car, but you look at a stationary object, but you assume you're stationary. What do you observe as the other object that's a stationary? Do you observe it as it being still or moving?
You said we're both stationary?
Like you're in a moving car.
Oh, okay.
And you
Yeah,
have
it's moving toward me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So.
So you think the same case will apply here? Like if you're a knife, you see a snake observing a knife moving at the speed of light, would the knife also observe the snake moving at the speed of light?
I guess so. Like, yeah, it would see the knife come through it. So it dies, but you said it's alive. I don't know how it's alive. It's very contradictory.
Well, based on two theories we told how time is affected and length is affected.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think this will apply to the snake case here?
So we said that the 80 meters would be 0 meters, right?
Well, maybe not 0 meters, but
It's just smaller than.
smaller than it would have been.
So if the knife is coming down, but it's coming down, which is the weird part, right? Like if it was coming through the snake, then like horizontally, then yeah, that would change, because then it wouldn't it's coming vertically down. So does that mean the snake's like length is, or like height is shortened?
Well, that brings us to another point. We have, in physics, we have the three-dimensional model, height, length, and width, x, y, and z. Right? What coordinates would you expect to be affected if you move at the speed of light?
The z coordinate.
The z coordinate?
In this.
No,
Well,
just imagine you're moving, you're on the x coordinate, and you're moving this way at the speed of light. What would you observe? Which coordinate would you assume that be affected?
The x coordinate.
X coordinate.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Would any other x or z or y would be affected?
No.
Okay. So if it brings it back to this case,
Uh-huh.
you said the height of the snake is affected,
Yeah.
but the height of the snake would be in the y coordinate.
Yeah, but the knife is moving in the y coordinate, or like whatever we want to say the vertical coordinate is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we said the snake is moving to the right.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So snake is moving to the right, and the knives on each end are moving at the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it still only matters because the knives are moving at the speed of light, not the snake. If the snake is just going at normal snake speed, I don't think that really affects much. The knife is still moving at the speed of light, therefore that coordinate was being shrunk.
Mm-hmm.
Which then I still don't understand how the snake would live.
Well, do you think the time at either end of the snake would be the same?
Well,
Let's say, what do you think is the correlation between time and the speed of light?
and the speed of light. I think the relation is that the more, I guess, the closer you get to the speed of light, or the longer that you are traveling the speed of light, the slower time is for you, technically.
Okay. So, if one knife is here and one knife is here, would they both be in the same frame? Would they both be in the same I guess would they both observe this phenomenon the same?
Being that they're both traveling at the speed of light, yeah, they see each other perfectly, because they're like, all right, nothing's really moving for us because, you know, we're both going at the same speed. That's regular, or like relativity. To the snake, probably, I mean, like, okay, to the snake, the knives are just still. Because they're like, all right. Time is moving slower for that. So does that mean like the snake just fucking sped across? Sorry, just sped across.
Well, let's think about another way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can a particle move faster than the speed of light?
Particle moves faster. Say no.
Okay. Now, they both chop down at the same time, right? But how would they be observed as an outside perspective, being chopped down? Would you observe both ends coming down at the same time?
If we're still, then yes. But if we're moving, then no, because would be like closer to one knife than the other. Technically.
Okay. Let's say you're moving the speed of light, and how fast would you be able to receive information? Let's put it that way.
How fast would we be able to receive information? It'd be really difficult to receive information, but I guess as fast as we can. like if there's a limit to receiving information, we'd be there, or whatever. So let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say it's like 10 bits. You know, at the speed of light, we receive 10 bits of information.
So, wait, let me ask you for your major. What is your major?
I'm electrical engineering.
So, when we describe it to me, you're processing this information as if we're computers, trying to process it.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you have a computer on space.
Okay.
And speed, like, would the computer work the same way, running around, running information?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay. So you have two different space. You have two different points of space, both running at the speed of light. Would it be possible that there's negative time?
Negative time. What do you mean negative time? Like let's say from right here, like from this point on, like negative 2 seconds would be me asking about what negative time would be.
I wouldn't say that. I dropped 2 bottles simultaneously. The simultaneity, right?
Yeah, they land at the same time.
But if I say negative time, how would you observe that?
It would be still in your hands.
So I dropped this at 0. But since information hasn't been received of what's happening yet, then I still have this bottle.
But since there's 2, you haven't dropped either bottle?
Well, let's run it back from the basics, right? We know time runs slower, and length gets smaller based on a different frame, right? And information is also perceived by the speed you're going, correct? So if you're in one spot, this happening, but in a farther spot, something else is happening, you cannot perceive faster than the speed of light. So how, if you're the snake, you're the tail of it, how would you observe the knife coming down towards you and the knife coming down towards that? Would you see it land at the same time?
No. They land at different speeds. I mean, at different times, not speeds. I don't know which one we would observe first.
Let's say you're at the tail of it.
Then we'd see that knife.
Okay, let's say you observe this knife fall down at time equals 0. Now, what does t equal here that you think it'll drop?
2, or like whenever. Okay, it's however much time light takes to go from the knife to me, the distance of the snake. Right, so it's like whatever 300 million meters per second, right, light takes, and you have like 80 divided by 300 million, right? And that's the amount of seconds that would be in the future of when the knife would reach the ground.
Okay, so if I'm getting what you're thinking correctly, that if you're at the tail, you observe this happen later than the one in front of you, one on top of you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now you're the knife.
Now I'm the knife.
Right? You're saying if this person observed this fall slower, but you're saying in this frame, if you're the knife, you would observe the other knife to fall down with the same time as you. How would this be plausible? Will the knife be falling the same rate, or a knife be falling slower?
Ooh, okay. We didn't say light extended it. We said light shortens the distance. If it shrinks in the vertical part of it, then I still think the knives. The knives like end at the same time.
Well, in this session so far, what have you taken away? Well, how did your mental model improve of how special relativity is to you?
So from my initial thoughts of special relativity, I didn't really know much, but I can assume at this point that the person in the rocket ship that is going with the speed of light, time moves slower for them than people on Earth. I'm confident about that, and that distance changes depending on the direction in which you're moving the speed of light.
Absolutely.
Comparatively, I'm not really sure how speeds change or how the snake would live. But
Well, thank you for coming out today.
thank you for having me.